What's up, everybody? It's Frederick Douglass Bussey back with another whiteboard session. It's been a Monday, so if you're already off and running, then we're glad to have you here for this discussion. Today, we're going to be talking about something that many people struggle with, right? A lot of entrepreneurs talk about discipline and consistency. Today, we're going to talk about how to master discipline so you can master your life and the success that you want. All right, let's go to work. When I first became an entrepreneur, it was accidental. So I didn't know that there was a lot of things that I would have to learn. And for many entrepreneurs, that's the case. One thing I've discovered is that every level that you go, the next level that you go to is a level you've never been to before. And so it requires something of you that you've never really had to give. So how do you master that? How do you acquire the skills necessary to be able to do that? And more times than not, if you ask somebody what they need to be able to do to make their business more successful, to scale it, to get more momentum, they'll tell you that they kind of know. They know what they need to do. The problem is actually doing it, actually implementing the things that need to be done and having the quote unquote discipline to get it done. So one of the challenges that we face is that when we are having things that we need to do, how do we get ourselves to do that? And the one word that people tend to use over and over again is this one here. Discipline, right? I need more discipline. I need to be more consistent. I need to figure out how I can continually stay disciplined and knock out the tasks I need to knock out to be more productive, etc. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about why we're not more, well, let me put it this way. We're going to reframe discipline in a way that I think can be more valuable for you to help you understand exactly how you can implement this into your life, how you can master it, and start to be able to knock off the list, the tasks on your list that you want to be able to knock off, to really accomplish things you want to be able to accomplish, but also to become the person that can achieve the things that you desire to achieve in your business and in life. So let's talk about it today. First of all, let's talk about what discipline really is, right? What a lot of people think discipline is beating yourself up, beating yourself up in order to force yourself to be able to accomplish something in particular. And while I'm doing this, if you're watching this on LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube, drop a comment below. Let us know where you're watching this from. Let me know what you're discovering. And even if you have questions, I'm happy to take questions while we're doing this because I want to make sure it's most valuable for you in your experience where you are right now, right? So let's talk about the fact that for many people, discipline is a different kind of thing, right? So in most people's minds, it's beating themselves up or using the will of others into submission. For a kid growing up where I grew up in the South, discipline meant you were getting a beating, you're getting a spanking, right? So you had a belt or you had a switch. You know, I know these days people talk about that in terms of abuse, but that was how parents used to think. It's like discipline was that sort of a thing. You discipline your children so that they would have discipline and they would know how to behave. And that's very typically the mindset that we have when it comes to disciplining ourselves. We think, how do I have to whip myself into shape? What do I beat myself up that I'm able to either guilt myself or shame myself or punish myself into behaving the way I want to behave to get the outcome that I want to be able to get? But oftentimes, because it is focused on the behavior, we don't focus on the outcomes. And so what we're saying is, I need to be doing these tasks. I need to be working harder. I need to be, following this regimented schedule. And so we implement these things in our lives, and they don't actually give us the outcomes that we want because we're not focused on the outcomes. We're focused on the behavior. And discipline typically tends to be a thing that we do where we're focused on behavior. But what I want to do is shift that for you today and help you understand that discipline is not what we really think it is. It is something very, very different, and it can be a lot more powerful if we allow it to be. So the word discipline actually comes from the Latin word discipulus. There's a lot of use. Discipulus. All right. For my Latin scholars, forgive me if I'm pronouncing this wrong. But discipulus, right? And so discipulus really means disciple, which means student or learner. Learner. There we go. So right there, we have a very different version of what we've been thinking about it. A disciple, a discipular or disciple is not someone who has been beaten into submission, who is not just a slave or a servant. It is someone who studies and learns what someone has to teach, right? And so if you were we have what we have was a lot of people were called disciples of certain people, right? You understand that word, disciple of Jesus, disciples of certain academic philosophies and things of that nature. These are people who study and learn these things. And so it's not that they have beaten themselves into submission. They have dedicated themselves to learning more about this particular topic, the teachings of a certain leader, whatever the case may be. You have disciples of business, people who have studied business. And so if they're studying those things, they're learning about it and they're becoming more learned in the pursuit of excellence and success in that agenda, in that arena. Now, here's the thing. Hey, Chris, how you doing, man? All the way from over in the UK area. Good to see you, brother. Let me know if this is resonating for you guys as well, right? Before we get to the next point, because I want to break down a little bit more about what it means to be a disciple, right? Now, discipulus comes from another Latin word, right? And so I want to make sure you guys can see this. I don't want to write too low. But discipulus actually comes from another word, which is discere. All right? Discere. I'll make sure I'm spelling that right. Yeah, discere. All right? Now, discere actually is a compound word in Latin. It comes from two things. It comes from the word dis and the root dis, and it comes from caper, right? So dis means to comprehend. All right? Caper means to seize or to hold. All right? Now, why is that important? It's important because we understand that this root word of discipulus, which is student or learner, actually comes from the word discere, which means to comprehend or to seize comprehension, right? To seize it and make it your own. So that means that it is not just I am aggregating or accumulating knowledge of this person. It means I am taking it and understanding how to implement it in my own life and to apply it, right? And so having discipline means I have the power to acquire knowledge, but also the wisdom to implement it because I have taken it and made it my own, right? So when I'm able to do that, what it does is it allows me to be able to say that I am mastering the knowledge that I'm acquiring. I am mastering the track that I'm on, whether it's business or biology or law, whatever your discipline is, right? This area of focus, you're taking it and you're seizing it as your own. And what a lot of entrepreneurs and business leaders have not done is that they have acquired certain skills that show them as competent in a certain area, but they've not mastered that. And so they have not taken the time or the perspective to understand how they can seize an element of their business and be able to make it fully their own, whether that's sales, marketing, leadership, whatever your role. There's a certain thing you need to be able to seize and hold as your own, take as your own, to be able to comprehend that. So if we apply this to what we want for most of our lives, if you want to be successful or a master of life or business, you have to say, in essence, it's almost like a religious experience. What gospel will convert us and make us masters in our own right of that thing, right? What is the area of discipline that you are going to choose to pursue? And when it comes to entrepreneurship, a lot of people think it's either about making money or they may think it's just about performing this task at a high level, right? So being technically competent in what you're doing. But what I want to suggest to you that is if you want to be able to scale your business and grow to a higher level, what you have to learn is the mastery of scaling. So you have to attain a discipline, right? You have to learn to become a discipulus, a disciple or a student, learner of scaling. How do I do that? What is the mindset I need to have? What is the influence I need to be able to exert? What is the leverage I need to be able to utilize in my business? The three components of momentum in our scalosity model. How do I become a disciple of that? How do I discard it? How do I seize it and take it as my own, right? And for that, I want to leave you with three elements of success that is going to allow you to be able to, of discipline. I mean, three areas of discipline that's going to allow you to be able to focus on that and to be able to seize it as your own. All right. So check the comments here. What's going on? Hey, if you're on Facebook, make sure that you are letting StreamYard use your name so I can see who you are, because I can't see you when I'm in the Facebook profile, right? But today we're talking about discipline, and we want to talk about the three areas that you can focus on. I came up with a framework that allows us to be able to simplify. I love those to be able to do that, right? As one of my children comes in. Yes, ma'am. How can I help you?
I finished.
You finished your work? You finished writing your sentences?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. You're a little not tall yet, so they can't see you. Just wave like this. Okay.
They can see my head.
Yes, they can see your head. All right. Now go back and finish. You can start another lesson, okay?
What lesson?
One of your time for learning lessons.
Okay.
All right. Awesome. So we're talking about, and what we have here is, what I came up with is the SOS framework. It's a way to think about discipline in a very particular way, all right, to allow you to be able to grow from here. So there's three different things you want to focus on, right? So first you want to focus on the knowledge or the study of, right? So we're talking about discipline, which is the study of. You want to seize and comprehend self. You have to know who you are. What is your gift? What is your strong suit? What is your makeup? What is your creative design as a human being? Who are you? What are your strengths and your weaknesses? You have to understand that so you can be able to pour into yourself to develop your strengths, right? Not so much to develop your weaknesses. And we're not focusing on the weaknesses as much as we're understanding where our strengths are and playing to those strengths. We want to rig the game in our favor. If we lost sound. Am I muted? Uh-oh. Can you hear me now? Drop a thumbs up or a one in the comments if you can hear me and let me know. I want to make sure you can hear me. This is the meat of the whiteboard presentation. You get one thumbs up, like, good. All right. Thanks, Toussaint. Appreciate it. Okay, we're good to go. All right, so mastery of self is crucial. It's important. Understanding who you are, right? And so the mastery of self is a lifelong pursuit. But at the very core, if you don't know what your gift is, if you don't know your strengths and your innate talents and abilities, who you naturally are as a person, if you're always going against the grain, going against the tide, it's going to be very difficult to be disciplined because you're always going to be pushing against yourself. You're going to be in resistance to your natural alignment of who you are as a person, as a leader, as an entrepreneur. You want to be able to focus on understanding who you are and where you're strongest in pursuit of that, all right? The next thing you want to do is you want to have a study of others. This is why this is so important. And this is where many people struggle, is because it is not about understanding how to get validation from others. It is not about focusing on others' opinions. It is simply the psychology of how other people work. How do you increase influence in your world? Your zone of influence is going to be crucial. And the way that you influence others is by understanding how others think. How do others tick? What makes them move? What motivates them? What are their needs? What are their pains? All these things come into marketing, sales, advertising, all those things. But it's really, really crucial because once you understand how others move, it allows you to be able to understand how you can serve the world in a more powerful way. Right? Because you started with yourself. You know what's strongest about you. Now, how do I influence others? How do I serve others? Where's the greatest place that I can show up most powerfully, right? Now I'm starting to apply that discipline for myself and others, and I'm triangulating it, right? And we're going to finish the triangulation by understanding this one, which may be the most important, right? Which is simply source. Source is the study of God. Where does truth, knowledge, and true power emanate from? Being rooted in and connected to that. Why do I say that? Because in the Bible, it talks about the fact that, in God, all things are created and He is in all things, right? And if He is in all things, we look at our universe, quantum theory, universal principles. You look at atoms, molecules, how the world works, how certain laws are in effect. The laws of physics all apply to the law of business. The laws of psychology all apply to the law of business. The law of biology, how we work, these things are all intertwined and they're inescapable. Understanding these things as a foundation of who God is and how He created the world and how the universe works is super important because there are certain universal laws that we have to apply in all these things, right? So we're applying that. This triangulation here now leads us to be able to discover our discipline, right? What is the area of the world that we can seize and take hold for our very own? That is mastery. That is when you own your space. That is when your business can take flight, when you can gain more momentum because you have taken the time to pour into that, to invest in that, and be able to understand where your level of discipline really comes from. All right. So let me know in the comments, is this valuable for you? What have you discovered from it? Is it something that has helped you to make a shift from the normal way you've been thinking about discipline and disciplining yourself, right? And when we talk about being more consistent, when we talk about being more productive, a lot of times what we're talking about is we think we have to be more disciplined in terms of beating ourselves up or punishing ourselves or withholding good things from ourselves in terms of instant gratification or whatever the case may be. In reality, a different shift in terms of what we can learn to love, what we can learn to pour our whole hearts into. That is the area that we can start to understand how we can be more powerful and more productive. And yes, it applies to your business because your business is not separate from you. If you are running your business or working in your business, if you are leading your business in any way, you cannot be disconnected from that. And it doesn't mean that you cannot be disconnected from the outcomes that you want to get out of your business if you're really pouring into it and getting the most effective use of that possible. All right. So that's today's whiteboard session, how to master discipline. There's more that we can go into. There's other areas we can talk about in terms of consistency, talk about the drip model, where we use more leverage to be more decisive, repetitive, intentional, and predictable in our businesses. But we want to start there because discipline is about a mindset and understanding that when we can seize and take hold, right? We can comprehend and take hold of it and make it our very own. Then we have a mastery level in our business, in our careers. It's going to allow us to be much more successful than anyone that we know. And you want to continue to surround yourself with people that are like that. Now, if you are struggling with the challenge of growing your business, we have an upcoming masterclass where we're talking about business scaling. I'm going to be posting so you guys can vote on what you want the title to be in your area of focus in particular. But if you are interested in that, then send me a message. Stay tuned to this channel because we're going to be talking about that much more over the coming days and weeks. All right. And we also have the masterclass series, all 2023. We're going to be dealing with this masterclass series where we deal with a different aspect of entrepreneurship and how to scale your business in a powerful way, more effortlessly, more painlessly, and more productively, so you can get the things out of your business that you want out of it and pour into it the things that you need to be able to get those things out in a more powerful way. All right. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you smash the like button, thumbs up, subscribe, share this link with someone that you know, same on LinkedIn. Let me know in the comments what you discovered, what was most valuable for you, what was least valuable for you. If you couldn't see the whiteboard, whatever the case may be, just let me know in the comments so we can continue to improve and refine the content to make it more valuable for you in every possible way. All right. That being said, I got to go make lunch for the kids. So I'm out of here. We'll talk to you next time. My name is Frederick Douglass Bussey. As always, ever forward.